As a teenager, I remember older folks telling me that I should appreciate my youth and that I should not take for granted the boundless energy and time I had at my disposal, because one day soon, that energy would begin to wane and that time would be blocked off. And I'd wonder where it all went, where my time was being taken up and where my energy had escaped to. Now, I'm 26 going on 27, and their words are hitting home in a way that I did not expect them to hit home this soon. I thought by 26 or 27, I'd have life figured out, and that I would not pay any mind to who I was at 16, 17, 18. I wanted to forget the past. I wanted to bury it under the sands of time. But the truth is, you can't forget the past. You can do it momentarily to help you in a situation where you want to rise to a challenge, where you want to become someone new, where you want to act in a different way. You can forget the past momentarily. But over the long haul, you cannot. Because there is a bridge that is constantly being updated and modified, lengthened and expanded between the past and the present. Between the past, the present, and your future. This bridge is always under construction. You cannot destroy it. You can believe it's not there for a moment, but at a certain point, you have to open your eyes. And while I was driving through Wicker Park last night, around 8:30, my eyes were open. I felt this wave come across my body. It wasn't positive. It wasn't negative. It was completely and utterly neutral. But this wave was this source of energy, this source of potential that I hadn't felt since I was 19, 20, 21 years old, since the memories of being a 16, 17, 18-year-old high school student were fresher. I hadn't felt this energy in a long time, and this energy was so much more palpable and potent than it was at 19, 20, 21, because I didn't have the perspective and the context that I do now at 26 going on 27. However, now that I am 26 going on 27, and I'm rapidly approaching 30. I say rapidly because time is accelerating. It is completely out of my control. It is flying out of my hands. I have no ability to manipulate it whatsoever, it seems like. Every single day, this is proving more and more true. I can look back and I can see who I was at 16, 17, 18 in a completely new light, in an educated light, in a light with context, based on knowledge and experience that I've gained over the past decade. And through that lens, I can see that my 16, 17, 18-year-old self, who had dreams to be the best rapper in the world, to walk in the footsteps of J. Cole and Nas, that kid knows that here in Chicago, I'm going to make it. That kid knows unconsciously, can't verbalize it. If he were to, it would be absolutely nuts. It would be uncanny. Perhaps I do in a different timeline. I'm not sure, because I've only lived one, at least through this body, through this vessel, through this awareness. He knows that here in Chicago, I'm going to make it. And the reason why I can say that with 100% certainty is because I should not have the type of insight I'm having right now into how I was thinking at 16, 17, 18 years old. See, as you get older, your insight into the past, specifically into your thought patterns of the past, into your inner monologue, it muddies. It gets thrown into a cluster of other thoughts and emotions and opinions and dogmas and creeds and codes from society. It gets tossed in this play pit, in this ball pit, and you can't find it as the years go on. Ask anyone who's 40, 50, 60, 70. How well can they recall their memories? Only the ones that were incredibly impactful. But outside of those, they can't recall their state of being. They can't recall how they were thinking on a day-to-day basis. They cannot transport themselves back into the characters they were playing when they were fresh out of high school, or when they got their first job, or when they got married, or when they had their first kid, or when they were doing XYZ, working on XYZ project, thinking it was going to be big, right? They can't get themselves into the mindset, into the state of mind that character possessed on a day-to-day basis. And that's the key differential. You can recall it. You can recite what happened. You can read the lines, but getting into the headspace of who you were at 16, 17, 18, viscerally, deeply, to the point where there is no confusion. You have perfect clarity. That is adding the emotion to the dialogue of a script. And this is what you're missing. This is what I've been missing. And it's something you and I are missing and have missed through a lot of our lives, because modern society, as society in every era, not just the 21st century, but in ancient Rome, ancient Athens, ancient Persia, the Middle Ages, the Muslim Golden Age, society beats out of you the ability to reconnect to who you were. Society chips away at this bridge. It undermines the structure, the foundation of this immaculate construction that only Frank Lloyd Wright could appreciate. It undermines it, not because it's malevolent, not because it's devious, not because it's evil, but because that's what it's designed to do. It needs you to forget. It needs you to embody the present moment without memory of the past, without thoughts of the future. It needs you to be the worker bee. It needs you to build the pyramids. It needs you to fight in the Roman legions. It needs you to take up your spear and shield in the phalanx. It needs you to be the priest or the monk that your small civilization, your small community in Western Europe or in the Far East requires you to be. It needs you to be those things. It doesn't need you to worry about who you were as a kid. It doesn't need you to worry about what you were thinking, what you were feeling, what you were dreaming. It doesn't need you to worry about that. In the 21st century, however, we have the ability to get outside of these present roles. It's what Bruce Lee talks about in Striking Thoughts, a great book. Stumbled upon it completely by accident. He discusses how, as a teacher, you need to teach someone how to take on a mold without being consumed by the mold, without being cast into the mold to the point where it is this mask on your face that you cannot rip away, to the point where you now begin to identify with the mask. You need to be able to take on a mold without identifying with the mold, without being able to break free from the mold. You always have to be able to slip out of the mask. It's something that Machiavelli talks about as well, in far greater detail. You have to be able to play the roles that society wants you to play. But if you don't keep your autonomy of thought, your autonomy of spirit, of soul, then you will have it crushed out of you by technology. You will have it crushed out of you by the way the world is moving into crypto and blockchain, digital surveillance. You will have it crushed out of you with the streaming culture, with the sub-gifts and the silly stuff that goes online. You will have it completely ripped away from you. But if you can maintain this autonomy, if you can keep it and build upon it, you will continuously ward off the attacks that society is making on this bridge. Because let me tell you, this bridge is so important. If you can embody the mindset of who you were at 16, 17, 18, you have this power that you cannot really describe. And I'm going to try to in this video. I've been trying to, but it's very difficult without butchering the words. Language is completely overrated in this sense. It's only something you can feel when you feel it. When I felt that wave come across my body, I knew that my 16, 17, 18-year-old version of me that was writing furiously in study hall, writing furiously in Spanish class, in psychology, in history, in every class essentially. All I did throughout the day, 6, 7 periods out of the day, was write music. I didn't pay attention at all because I didn't have to. It was easy. And my teachers let me because they knew I cared about it so much. They knew that I was dead serious, that I really enjoyed this, that I was not playing around, that I was not messing around with my lyrics, that I was saying something, that I had to, that the only way I could be what I needed to be was to say what I had to say by filling these pages, by completely immersing myself in this work. They let me do it. And I can feel that person communicating with me right now saying, you're going to do it. This is part of your journey. This is part of your path. this is where you make it big. I can sense the 16, 17, 18-year-old version of me looking into the future, unconsciously or consciously, at least unconsciously, and saying, Nate's doing it. Nate's getting it. But it's weird because I remember at 16, 17, 18 years old how certain I was that it was going to be quick, specifically 18 years old. I was writing my first project senior season, an album that detailed all of my experiences in junior and senior year of high school in vivid detail. No punches pulled. I remember I thought that was going to be huge. I thought it was going to be the best thing since Friday Night Lights. I thought it was going to be the best thing since the warm-up. I thought it was going to be like Nas and It Was Written, right? I thought it was that good. And it was good. Looking back, it wasn't good. But it was good for being my first real project. And I remember dropping it my freshman year of college because I had to get it mixed and mastered. I had to finish it up. I was really particular about certain songs. I wanted to make it a masterpiece. And I remember dropping it during my freshman year of college. And I remember I was with my ex-girlfriend in the car going to this party. And I broke down crying, sobbing uncontrollably. I could not help it. She thought I was sad. She thought I was distraught. She thought I was taken aback by something. And I wasn't. I was overwhelmed with joy because I had released a project that got out everything from years that shaped me, years that made me who I am, that sent me on a path I really didn't control looking back, a path that I really did not choose, at least not using this brain, perhaps using the divine brain, the one brain, the universal conscious. Perhaps that's where I chose it, but I didn't choose it using this brain. I was sobbing uncontrollably because I finally dropped. I finally put it out there, and I thought I was going to make it big. I was 19 years old. I was young, full of ambition. I was writing furiously. The world seemed open. I didn't have any real responsibilities. I didn't have any real bills. I didn't have to worry about societal pressures. I didn't have to worry about AI and technology. I didn't know anything about the world. It was great. But I'm 26, 27, and I'm still not big. I'm still not that superstar that I wanted to be when I was a teenager. Now, I could be upset about this, but I'm not, because I knew 5-6 years ago that the best way to talk about your youth is to do it 10 years in the future. It's not to do it in the moment. That's one time to do it. You can make incredible work. And senior season was incredible for the fact that it was raw and it was unfiltered and it was right there. It was like I saw something and boom, I wrote it down. I'm walking through ancient Athens. I see something crazy happen. I see Socrates. I hear him say something. Oh, write it down. Oh, I'm one of the 12 disciples. I'm walking around with Jesus. Write it down. That's how it felt. That's how it felt for Nas whenever he wrote his albums, 94, 95, 96. That's how it felt for him. That's how it felt with young Lil Wayne. It was see it, write it down, right there and then. No gap in time. But all the books of the Bible were written well after Christ died. And they hit home. They hit home like crazy. They're some of the best stories ever told. Perhaps the best story ever told. That's the case because of the context, because of the time that it passed, because of the added voices, because of the added characters. It gives added weight. It gives added emotion. And now 10 years later, sitting in my closet in Chicago, writing at a furious pace once again, I can tell you that what I'm about to put out is going to be awesome. And it's not even the stuff I thought I was going to put out coming here. I thought I was going to put out very different stuff, especially since when we first landed, when we first arrived, we were making club songs. We were working with Timbaland beats, or at least Timbaland inspired from the mid-2000s. A lot of bounce, a lot of energy, a lot of amped upness. But the songs I'm writing now, very introspective, very reflective, real, raw, uncut, not pulling any punches, not abstract at all. I'm channeling who I was at 16, 17, 18 years old through the lens of someone who is wiser, more knowledgeable, richer, more skilled. The person I wanted to be. And I understand that I've been rambling for quite some time, but I wanted to put this video out, and I wanted to make this video. And this video is going to go out because I don't want you to lose the bridge between who you were. I don't want you to let society destroy it, bit by bit, chip by chip, chisel by chisel. Don't let the termites rot away your tree of life. Maintain it, water it, grow it, build upon it. Because there's a power in your past. There's a power in who you were that you can't describe, but once you possess, you have everything. You have absolutely everything. Because the past is always communicating with the present, and the present is always communicating with the future, and the future is communicating with the past, and the past is communicating with the future, and the present, and the future, and the past, and vice versa. It's one continuous line that also branches out in a billion different directions, a trillion different directions. It's omnipotent. It's omnipresent. It knows all. It can do all. Any thought you have can be communicated to any point in the timeline, can be communicated to any person in the timeline at any time. Don't forget it. Because if you do, you're going to turn into one of the worker bees. You're going to turn into one of the drones. You're going to turn into someone who's on autopilot. Perhaps you're already on autopilot. Get off of it now, because you don't have long. I'm 26 going on 27. And I can say the reason why this is happening now, the reason why the 16, 17, 18-year-old version of me is communicating with me now is because he knows that the window's closing. Not because it's closing practically, but because it's closing emotionally and spiritually. This is the window where if I do not get this to work, it will not work. Because by 30, responsibilities, kids, wife, house, technology creeping in. I haven't kept up with the curve, right? Assuming. Don't let that happen, because I'm not going to let it happen. Do not allow the bridge to be destroyed. Maintain it. Continue to construct it and erect it further. Maintain that connection between the past, the present, and the future. If you maintain this connection along the timelines, you have all the power in the world, because you can pull thoughts from any point in your past and your future. You can pull ideas from any branch of who you are as a spirit and soul. This is how you win. And this is how you manifest. This is how you create what you want. And right now, I'm creating something really fucking hard. So stay tuned for that. In any case, I will see you in the next video. Much love, peace. I got to go hit a workout because it's 10:30 in the morning on Sunday. I woke up late because I was drinking a little bit last night. A little bit of Fireball, a little bit of that, a little bit ooh. I'll see you in the next one. Much love, peace. This is New Da Vinci. Have a blessed day.